Good morning. Tuesday morning. No, Thursday morning. Thursday morning, September 2nd. Welcome, everyone. Jan Akins, good morning to you. It's a chilly morning, actually. It's strange. I even had to run my heater this morning to defog my windshield in my pickup. Good morning, Dana Creeshock. Good to see you this morning. So we're grateful, at least for a temporary respite from such warm temperatures. I'm sure they'll be back, but since we can benefit from cool temperatures, especially as the spread of wildfires, and cool temperatures mean increased humidity and all those things. So grateful for that. And I welcome Karen, Lowe, and others who are joining us this morning. As I wait for other names to come in, Barbara Richardson, good morning. Shout out, as normal, to those who are watching later or whose names don't appear. Stephen Andrew Hauser, good morning to you. And so thankful for you. Thank you for that, for commenting and being a part of our morning live streams. Thinking about the Para family. Sierra, probably some point this morning, driving a car full of kids to school this morning. They often listen to this live stream on the way to school. So good morning to you, Maverick and Jake and Josh and Layla, who are also heading off to their school today. Big steps for those kids. Carmen Lego, good morning. Daryl and Suzanne, good morning to you. We are in Proverbs chapter 2 this morning, and we're talking about the value of wisdom. I'll just read. We're going to read probably the first 15 verses, but we're going to spend most of the time in the first 5 verses. And this is a proverb that begins with an if. In the Bible, all literature really, you have a clause that is called or referred to as an if-then statement. So you have the if. If you do this, then this will result, right? So if you obey, then you will be rewarded. If you work hard, then you will see results. But if you disobey, then there'll be consequences. So there's an if and a then. So our very first verse begins with an if. And these are words written from presumably Solomon. He doesn't name himself, but these Proverbs are close to chapter 1 where he does identify himself. And it does seem like a similar context. A father passing along wisdom to his son. Solomon passing along these wise commands, words of wisdom, so that his son would benefit. So it begins, my son, if there's our if you receive my words and treasure up my commands with you, making your ear attentive to wisdom and inclining your heart to understanding. Yes, another if, right? If you call out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver and search for it as for hidden treasures, then, there's our then, verse 5, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. If you do all these things, then you will understand, you will find. You will understand who God is and how the world works. You will find knowledge. You will find the wisdom you're looking for. So there is a progression here to acquire this level of wisdom, and it begins with value. And then as he continues all these ifs, what we see is the value of that wisdom increasing. So we have level 1, wisdom, or level 1 value, really. It's the wisdom, the quality of wisdom that is handed to us. So the father is saying, hey, son, if you receive the commands I'm giving you. So the first level of wisdom, which has a fairly low value, it's all valuable, right? But it's the wisdom that's handed to us, given to us by oftentimes our parents, right? And things that are free in life, we don't value as much. And it's particularly when we're young, little kids and so on, and growing up in our household, things like this, we often don't have an ear of attention and a heart of, I want to receive this. This is so valuable. We just don't understand the value at this point. I mean, our parents love us, and they're giving us these really wise statements that if we just listened and put them in our heart, it would really go well for us. Not only would we avoid discipline in our house, but actually we're learning really important things. But the problem is, because they're freely given to us by our parents, we don't value them that much, and we don't see how much we need them really. You're just making me do this. I thought about one of the free bits of advice that my parents gave me was the importance of hard work. And we did a lot of yard work on many a Saturday. Our Saturdays weren't filled with leisure and playing. We had plenty of those too, but lots of times we had chores to do. We had yard work to be done and so on. If we wanted to buy something that was valuable to us, they wouldn't just give us the money. We had to go earn it. So we'd go knock on doors. We'd do yard work for people. And I think I was 10 years old, and I had my first paper route delivering the Sacramento Bee every single morning, oftentimes before the sun came up. I didn't really appreciate that wisdom when I was a kid. In fact, at times I had a disdain for it, right? But it was so valuable. I just didn't see the value until later on in my life. So first of all, the writer of Proverbs is saying, if you receive this treasure I'm giving you, if you treasure up my commands with you, making your ear attentive, we got to see at some level the value when we're kids. Then he goes to the next level of value. The next is if you call out for it and raise your voice for understanding. So we have the value that's just handed to us. I mean, the wisdom that's just handed to us. And that's all good. It's probably really good advice. But it requires us to have an ear to hear it and listen, and a heart to receive it. This level 1 value wisdom. But then there's a level 2 value wisdom where it's just out of reach. It's not just being handed to us. We have maybe a need, and we think, how do I figure this out? And I'm not really sure how to make the right decision here. So he says, you got to call out for it. You have to raise your voice, and that wisdom will come to you. And again, I think about as a kid at our house, how you might be in one room in the house, and you have a need. And so you call out, Mom! But you don't do anything. You just sit there, and you keep saying it, Mom, Mom, Mom. Mothers, you could probably identify with this. And all of a sudden, the mother who hears this voice of their child begins, moving toward the sound of the voice, thinking, okay, where is this coming from? What is the need? And they get into the room, finally locating the child who's sitting in the middle of the floor, and said, what is it you want? I've stopped what I was doing, and I've come all this way to inquire. So the child was calling out, and wisdom came. And the simple question was, I'm hungry. So we have simple needs. We call out, and we level 2 wisdom kind of comes to us. So we have a need. We recognize our need. We value, getting that question answered and so on, and what could be on the other end of that. And when wisdom can come to us in those regards. But then we get to level 3 value, where we have a need, but we can call out, but wisdom doesn't just automatically come to us. We really have to seek it out. It says, this is verse 4, if you seek it like silver and search for it as hidden treasures. So this is the level of wisdom that requires a ton of work to acquire. And also it takes lots of time, years, to acquire this hard-fought wisdom that we just have to persevere and seek deeply and learn. This is the value. This is the quality of wisdom that we can acquire over many years of our life. So here's the contrast. You see a contrast of someone who is wise and someone who is foolish, all throughout the Proverbs. And the fool is the one who disdains wisdom. The wise father or wise mother is giving the wisdom, and they disdain it, like, I don't need it. You don't know anything. And then a fool may cry out for wisdom, but if it's not really truly valued, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to get up and go find it if it doesn't come to me. Certainly, they're not going to go seeking it out and working hard and diligently and searching and spending years looking for wisdom. Fools just don't do that. They just sit around complaining, like the world is against them, and nothing goes my way, and everything's everybody else's fault. That's the fool who is sitting in the room saying, Mom, 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 but Mom never comes because Mom has learned by this point that your question is really not seeking after wisdom. It's just self-serving. You need to get up off your butt and come find me. So that's kind of how it works, right? And we grow in that. Either we can be wise, listen, seek, value deeply, and we're going to seek after them our entire life. And that's not where the writer of Proverbs leaves us. We have the then. If we do that, if we really value wisdom and if we're willing to seek it and search for it, and by the way, the treasures of wisdom are found in the Word of God. We have wisdom in counselors, we have wisdom in our life experience, and God gives us a treasure of wisdom in the Word, and we just don't really oftentimes want to work all that hard to find it. We read a little bit of it and like, that's weird, I don't understand it. It's like the calling, a kid in a room, and it's just, we read a bit, and it's like, it's not really coming to me, I don't really understand. So we don't work hard to really dig out the gold that's found in the Word of God as God reveals His heart to us. It takes work, and it takes years to acquire. But then there's the then. If you do these things, if you do work hard and you do spend years acquiring it, God's not going to withhold it. He's going to give it to you. Then, verse 5, and I'll just keep reading at this point because there's only 4 verses of the ifs, but after the then, it's the rest of the chapter, really. But I'll read a few more. Then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom from His mouth. From His mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. I mean, He's heaping it up, ready to give it to you. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the paths of justice and watching over the ways of His saints. Then you will understand righteousness and justice and equity, every good path. For wisdom will come into your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will watch over you. Look at all these benefits of all the hard work of looking for it. God just has it all stored up. He says, here you go, over and over and over. He's willing to give it. He'll deliver you from the way of evil, from men of perverted speech, who forsake the paths of uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil. He's going to guard you from all of that. Men whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. And he ends with these 2 verses. I'm just skipping ahead. You will walk in the way of the good and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will inhabit the land, and those with integrity will remain in it. But, here's the final warning, the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it. So we're leveling up our wisdom, and the only way we level it up is if we value it. If we value it like silver, gold, hidden treasure, we will seek, and will be willing to continue to pursue seeking it. And God, who is rich in mercy, who has stored up all of this wisdom for us and the treasures, He will freely give it to us. Don't give up in the journey. Make sure we're learners. We take a posture of a learner all of our lives. Be willing to seek out deeply the things of God. He will give it to us, but we must persevere. We must learn to work hard, to seek it out, not just sit and let it come to us, but to work for it and seek it out like treasure. Do that today, and you will receive all the benefits of God's wisdom throughout your life. Lord bless you. We'll see you on Sunday for those who are going to be in attendance in worship, and if not, Monday morning right back here on the live stream. Have a great weekend.